Everyone is talking about AI these days. AI this, AI this. I have an AI that makes eggs in the morning, everything AI. Don't look at it as a robot that is just going to do all the work for you, but instead look at it as more of a new tool that can help us improve processes that we're doing anyway and doing things more efficiently. So let's dive in and look at how we can composite complex items such as moving face. Today I'm going to show you this example based on a client work that I did for a short film called Happy Anniversary. So it was filmed on a webcam. When the actress moved around, you can see that her face kind of looked bleach white. The director, Glenn, wanted to composite and improve the quality in those times when she's off light. So how are we going to do that? Well, in the past, we can Photoshop one frame and then we're basically gonna track the movement of the face and then gonna composite a top layer on top of that while masking around it. That is highly time consuming because you have to move frame by frame and it will always look kind of jittery, kind of weird. So it's something that like honestly we couldn't really achieve well in the past. Well, today with AI tools, we can start getting the work going. So, how are we going to do that? We are going to work with a software called EdSynth, which is a free software, first of all, that allows you to basically turn video into animation based on stylizing keyframes. So, but we can also use it for compositing. Here are a few great examples for what you can do with it, but in our example, we're basically going to Photoshop the critical frames that we need for the movement, and then the ED Synth is going to copy that style on the rest of the video. So how do we choose the right keyframes? Well, it all depends on the information that is presented within the frame that you're doing. So for example, we're treating movement of face. So as long as the actress or the subject is looking straight forward, all good. But the moment that I'm like doing this, and now all of this information, all of this area, it's not in the presented frame, the software won't know what to do with it. And this is basically when it's going to stop rendering. So we basically need to like go around and then choose the right keyframes. So for example, in this video, it will be like one when I'm looking straight, one when I'm looking over here, and then let EdSynth kind of like synthesize the frames going back and forth, and then we're going to composite those two strings on top of one another by changing opacity. Sounds a little complicated, but not too much. Let's see how it goes. First of all, we're going to take our video and we're going to turn it into an image sequence. How you do that? You can do that either on Photoshop or on Premiere or many other softwares, but let's talk about After Effects for this instant. You just go to export and then you choose PNG sequence and then you're saving it as a folder called video. Now we're gonna treat a different folder called keyframes. What I'm basically gonna do is I'm gonna take those keyframes that I chose and then I'm gonna take another frame where everything is looking clean and pretty, and then I'm gonna change the mode to difference mode on the layer that I'm gonna composite on top, and I'm gonna shift it for the best of the ability to match the original, match the keyframe. And now after it's pretty much okay, I'm gonna go to the keyframe and then I'm gonna mark with the magic wand the area that I need to composite, the area that it's bleach white in my example over here. After selecting that, I'm gonna go to selection and then I'm gonna go to feather and I'm gonna extend it a little bit. And now I'm gonna select the layer that I'm copying from, control copy and control paste, and now as you can see I have a piece that is somewhat pretty much accurate. And from now on I'm gonna use the eraser tool, I'm gonna use the clone tool, and also just a regular brush, and I'm gonna paint it on top of it to the best of my ability. You can also, the moment that you're done with the eraser, you can merge the layers with Control E or layers merge, merge below, and now just, good old painting work. After you got that, so then you can save it into your keyframe folder and then process with EdSynth. And now over here in EdSynth, you can see that you have a space where you can drop your folder for the keyframes, where you can drop the folder for your video, and then you will see below that it says like it recognizes automatically where is the keyframe and what is the video's length. Important that and the file names of the video and the keyframes has to match. So if the keyframe is called 1 and the video has to be 1, 2, 3, and so on. And also you can see that in the weight you can change the weight of the style based on the video. I usually don't find myself needing to change, but it's an option for you to know that. I think I used it once when I needed to like composite out like an item that was it was just an umbrella passing over a hand and I wanted to erase that umbrella, so I didn't want any of that. So this is where the weight can get a little bit more useful, but for this example, I did not touch it.
Okay, and now it's the time to import what the Ebsynth have rendered. You can find the image sequence next to the video and the keyframe folder. Once you import, just remember to click on image sequence. And when you're importing also, if your frame rate of the sequence is different, right click on the video and then change the frame rate to match your sequence.
But over here you will also see sometimes that the EdSynth didn't do a good job here and there, or it might have some mistakes. So here we still might have some masking out work, but it's obviously a lot easier than what we used to do before in After Effects. Okay, so how do we mix the layers, a few composited layers in After Effects? Well, honestly, over here it's mainly doing playing around with the opacity. I also found it really useful to put the layer that we are fixing, so basically the raw video on top, and then you can use a color key in order to key out exactly that white that we're trying to erase. And then you basically created a window within the original video, and then on the bottom layer we're putting the sequence that EdSynth generated. And obviously if you have a few strings coming from a few keyframes, you would need to play with opacity a little bit and blend them well. You can also use the color range or the key color in order to key out the areas that you want to composite out in After Effects.